We're not going to be talking about the warband here. I'm just going to go over the patch. I've been streaming all day. We streamed like 10 hours, tested every single change that has been added, including like the orbitals, the weapon changes. We haven't gotten to the sentries, but we'll get there. But overall, even the sentries, it's all buffs, buffs, and buffs, okay? A lot of the things with this patch, with this update, was exactly what I expected, and we had discussed this previously, and that was buffs. I was talking about this all the time, and I was saying the only thing I don't want to see with the new update slash patch is nerfs, right? Like that can't be in this one, because if it is, it's gonna kind of ruin it for a lot of people, because this was the patch everybody was waiting for. And fortunately for us, that's exactly what they did. They buffed a lot of orbitals, they buffed a lot of weapons, they made some changes. Now, they did say like 100 plus changes. They have made 100 changes. If you take a look like at all the fixes and whatever it is, crash fixes, you know, when you take all of those combined, it probably is overall 100 changes. So they weren't lying about that. But as gamers, you know, a lot of people probably expected like 100 changes to like weapons and like ammo economy and so on. That's the point I'm trying to make here, okay? Overall, let's start off with the orbital changes, which was the orbital Gatling, orbital precision strike, airburst strike, the 110s, eagle strafing run. All of these changes were really good. Now, the reason they were so good is because most of them got like cooldown reductions, right? And that's always good, because that means you're going to be using them more often, which is a dub in my book. On top of that, guys, a lot of these can now damage heavy armored enemies. Now, what this does is it gives you the ability to use different kinds of these orbitals instead of just one. For example, the 500 kg, right? Like that's the most important one that we used to take out the Ball Titans. But now with the changes, with this literally this slight change, for example, if you take a look at the orbital precision strike, where it says decreased spawn call-in time from 4 seconds to 2 seconds, this made it so much easier to hit the Ball Titans and consistently kill them with one shot. Like I have a complete video where I test all the orbitals and everything like that, all the changes to the orbitals and eagles, and we were consistently getting one shots just because of that 2 second difference. And the reason for that is when you throw this down now, the Ball Titan doesn't have the time to move away and change his position. So as long as you're placing it correctly, you can one-shot Ball Titans pretty efficiently. And it has the decreased cooldown from 100 seconds to 90 seconds. Now, it is a little bit harder to set up, for example, compared to the rail cannon. At the same time, it's way smaller on cooldown, right? Way smaller. So that's going to be up to you. For me, this is going to be one of my main picks now for my loadouts for sure. Either combine it maybe with a napalm strike, 500 kg, or even the rail cannon. It's going to depend on what I'm running overall, but this is a great pick now. Changes like this definitely felt extremely good for this update. And same goes, for example, the airburst strike right here. You guys can see drop 20 seconds on the cooldown. The 110s now, like when you read it, you might think that it's a nerf, because you will see that decreased projectile damage from 600 to 250. But the fact that it is so much more precise now and easier to land on bigger targets, on anything pretty much, makes it perfect. Also, keep in mind that you have many uses on these eagles, okay? And overall, man, changes like this felt really nice. It gave me the ability to mix up my builds, take out the 500 kg, use the precision strike. We tested the orbital Gatling. We tested the strafing run. All of these things now damage heavily armored enemies. For example, you combine that with an eruptor, crossbow, plasma shotgun, scorcher, whichever you want. You're going to be able to take out Ball Titans with primaries. Like, you don't need to go for the sacks, okay? You don't. You just break the armor, and then you hit the armor wherever it's broken with those primary weapons. The Ball Titans will go down. Now, if you take a look at the machine guns, all of these machine guns have been buffed. On top of that, we have some buffs to the primary weapons, and the tenderizer being one of the most important ones, because right here you will see that increased projectile damage from 60 to 95. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I think that all ARs should be sitting right here at 95. After testing the tenderizer, I don't feel like it's broken. I don't feel like it's overpowered. I just feel like it was a strong AR when it comes to damage. However, it still struggles with ammo economy, and I don't know why this right here was needed. Decreased ammo capacity from 35 to 30. This was unnecessary. This would not make this weapon OP. It just wouldn't, okay? And decreased number of magazines from 10 to 8. This was also unnecessary. What they need to understand is that all of these ARs, chat, all of these ARs, they are only light pen, right? Most of them, not all of them, sorry, most of them. The ones that are light pen, it's okay to have ammo and deal damage. It's okay. The game's not going to break. The game's not going to become super easy. And if you're asking, Pip, how do you know? Take a look at the sickle. It has infinite ammo pretty much. Does anybody ever say it's broken or overpowered? No. So they shouldn't be afraid to leave this at 10 and leave this at 35 and then bump all the ARs to 95. Probably apart from, for example, concussive, because it has that extra effect. So maybe, land the concussive at around 85 or 80, something like that. But it's clear as day now, thanks to the tenderizer change, that this is not going to break the game and they're not going to be OP. So they need to understand that. They shouldn't be afraid of it. They should just go for it. That's what I would do. I feel like the game would feel much better. And I still don't think, even with that increase in damage, I still don't think ARs would be the most picked weapons in the game. The crossbow change, incredible, makes build crafting so much more interesting now because you can close bug holes and bot fabricators with this weapon. We have a separate video that showcases all, the explosive crossbow changes and everything like that. Make sure to check that out. Same goes for the Eruptor, man. The Eruptor felt strong. The increase in total damage from 420 to 570 per shot, you can feel it. And it's good. And it's strong. And it feels good, man. It does. It doesn't have the shrapnel. I understand that. But the other way to fix the issue was to increase the damage. Is precisely what they did. And now it feels much better. I felt like it was doing a great job both on the bot side and on the Terminate side. So there's that. Most of the things that we got with this update and patch or slash patch, whatever you want to say, it's good. We pretty much didn't get any nerfs, and for whatever looked like a nerf on paper, for example, this one for the 110s, ended up overall just feeling better. Now, let's quickly go over a few things that are still not that great in the game. As I said, all of these things that I just covered, they're pretty cool. They're great changes. I'm having fun playing and just switching up my builds, but there's definitely a few things that I would like to be changed. Gunship patrols on the automaton side. And you guys know how I feel about the automatons. I play against them, but I truly do believe that mechanically, some of the things that they do just aren't fun to go against. I feel like all of them have like aimbot at all times, and you get ragdolled like crazy. Even with the heaviest armor, with the shield, you can get ragdolled, and it's just not fun to go against that all the time. On top of that, now that you have these gunships coming out of nowhere, it just got more annoying in a way. And yes, there are some tools to deal with the gunship patrols, but in general, when you're playing against automatons, the problem is always like getting hit out of nowhere. Like you're fighting one guy in front of you and then boom, you explode and you're like, what the hell just happened? And you're trying to look around and there was a devastator 500 meters away, or now in this case, gunships just flying around you. You didn't see him, you didn't hear him because, there's some crazy stuff going on around you, but you guys get the point. I think that mechanically, there should be at least some way to counter this whole ragdolling and flinching situation, because at the moment it doesn't feel like there is anything, and sometimes they kill you, you just respawn and you die right away. They just destroy you. So I don't think that mechanically it's where it should be. Maybe tone down the aimbot a little bit and the ragdolling for sure. I think this change in general would make the game better. And when it comes to the headshot damage on both sides, by the way, that needs to go. Like, I do not understand why that's in the game. Hunters jump at you, literally one hit takes 60% of your HP. And the problem with that mechanic in general is that there's no counter to it. Helmets don't do anything. Armors pretty much don't do anything. And yes, they did add the extra reduction or whatever, but it's minimal. And the fact that you're running around trying to stay alive and you get tapped once and like 60% of your HP is gone on both sides most of the time, especially when all of our enemies have, for some reason, absolutely cracked aim. Even on the Terminate side, when you see a hunter flying at you, 99% of the time, they're not gonna miss. And when they do hit you, a lot of those hits are headshot hits. So you lose a chunk of your HP every time. I feel like if they fix these two mechanics in general, the game will feel better right away. And hopefully this is the direction we go in. Hopefully this is what happens with the other orbitals, with other weapons. And please, please, please buff the ARs. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're not gonna break the game. They're not. There's way better weapons in the game than the Tenderizer, even though you guys put it up all the way to 95 damage per shot. I promise you that there's better weapons. Maybe some people don't realize that, but the plasma weapons, for example, the plasma shotgun, even the crossbow at this point is incredible. There's so many good weapons. The blitzer, the incendiary shotgun, and also those weapons are not OP, so don't nerf them. They don't need to be nerfed. They are not overpowered. They're just in a good spot. And because you have them at that good spot, you need the ARs to move up a little bit. And once again, the Tenderizer damage increase has showed us that that's not going to be a problem. So that's a great decision that they made to increase the damage on that weapon. I'm guessing that's why they did it, chat. I think that the reason they did it was probably to just test it on one AR and see what the people think. I'm gonna be honest, we tested it for hours and hours. You guys saw it. It was fine. It didn't feel broken. It didn't feel OP. Bring all the items up to the point that it's interesting to use, viable to use. And if you want to increase the difficulty in order to counter that, that's also fine. If you want to add amounts of, bugs or whatever it is, go ahead, do that. But don't take away the fun tools from the players. And talking of fun, before I go, what about the biggest dub in this update, where they took away the modifier that takes away your stratagem against the bots? That is gone. That is a GG. That was one of my biggest complaints in general. I'm so happy that they're listening. Like, that alone should show you that they're listening, They just took out the modifier completely. Thank you so much. The game will feel 10 times more fun against the bots now, because I had to go from planet to planet to planet to planet to find one where there was no -1. So that's a huge dub also, man. So I would love to hear what you guys think about the changes, everything, the orbitals, the weapons, the machine guns, the support weapons, whatever it is. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's hope that all the upcoming updates and patches carry the same vibe. It is a step in a good direction. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I mean, we literally have the best community of all time.